Welcome to the ADR Across the Globe podcast with Dr. Chinwe, myself, and Mr. Tony Guys. So the primary aim of our podcast is to contribute to the civic discourse on how ADR and digitization can transform the lives of citizens caught in the web of justice backlogs. So we have our guest for today, Mrs. Achere Cole. She's a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, UK. And of course, she is the Chief Executive Officer, Director of the Lagos Multi-Door Courthouse, LMDC, the first of its kind in Nigeria, in Africa, sorry. And Mrs. Cole is a CEDA accredited mediator, arbitrator, ADR and restorative justice trainer, consultant, public policy specialist, and monitoring and evaluation specialist. It's such an honor to have you here, Mrs. Cole. Let me stop sharing now.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chinwe. It's always a pleasure to be on your program.
Oh, thank you so very much for honoring the invitation. So, yeah, Mr. Tony, do you have anything to say? Do you want to?
It's once again great to be co-hosting this particular series with you, Chinwe, and I'm delighted that Achere has agreed to be our guest this episode. I just wondered, Achere, for our loyal listeners, whether you could just explain, say 3 minutes, your route to the role as director of the LMDC.
Great, thank you, Tony, for that. So how did I start out? I started out straight out of law school. In Nigeria, you do about 5 years in university and a year in the Nigerian law school. And by the time I got to the Nigerian law school, there's a part of it where you have to do chambers attachment and some externship, where you leave school and then you observe court proceedings and you work from a law firm. And I just never found out any opportunity to see a case end to end. It just didn't happen that a case would begin and end in my about 1 month of externship. And then fortunately, Mr. Kende I know came to law school to deliver a lecture on ADR. And it was during that lecture I told him, you know what, I found out what I want to do. Can I come and work with you? And that was the negotiation and conflict management group. So he said, you know what, come to Lagos. And then I was living in Benin City in Nigeria. So he invited me over to Lagos and I started working with the negotiation and conflict management group straight out of law school in 2003. The Multi-Door Courthouse was set up in 2002. So I started off as a dispute resolution officer, membership officer, and so many other positions, registrar, and through the ranks, roles. I think my aim really, and what I'm really interested in, is seeing disputes resolved quickly, efficiently, simply, without all the trappings of the court system. That's not to say that some cases shouldn't go to court. Oh, they should, where it is necessary. But it just seemed so unnecessary to have advocates stand before the judge and make those, I'm a lawyer, please, I'm sure, but it just wasn't efficient at all, what I observed during law school. So this is over 23 years later. Wow. And I still love what I do. I've risen through different positions. And the aim really is just to create structures and systems that are efficient, that are effective, that are accessible, that are easy to use, simple processes that people can walk in and say, this is what I want to do. I want to resolve my dispute. And you can talk about it in front of a mediator. They can guide you to a resolution. So that's all I've done in pretty much of my career. Of course, I've veered off in various areas, but essentially that's the essence of how I got to being the CEO of the Multi-Door Courthouse. Thank you, Tony.
Right. Thank you. Achere, did you want to follow up on that?
Oh, myself? Oh, yeah. I would like to. Oh. I would like to ask you, do you have any pet hates or likes of your role? To your role?
Any what?
Any like hates or likes?
Oh, likes. What I like about my role. What
Yes,
I
and what
really
you hate
like.
about it. Yeah.
Okay, okay. What I like is I love the operations part of it most. I was director of operations before.
Hmm.
That's my best part, getting involved in the processes, walking through processes to make them better, practice
Hmm.
directions, seeing where you have nicks in the process, and then getting those things resolved and seeing the effect. I love that part of it. I love programs too. I love to teach. I teach. I absolutely love to teach. That's a major part. So just to let people know what we do.
Yeah.
And I love the programs, things that are new that just make things better. I think
Hmm.
those are the things and engaging with people on these things. What I don't like, bureaucracy. I don't like it. But I know that government has to have processes, so we have to walk through those processes. But
Hmm.
sometimes that just gets to you. So that's what I really don't like about it.
Hmm. Oh, okay, thank you so very much for
Mm.
that. I also want to ask about the upcoming conference. I know my co-host is going to present. Mr. Tony is presenting. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, can you tell us more? Can
Can't
you
wait.
tell us more about the multi-door courthouses and ADR stakeholders summit coming up?
Awesome. So
Yeah.
this summit is about fast tracking resolution of commercial disputes. That's really the theme.
Yeah.
Essentially, how do we fast track the resolution of commercial disputes? And we're saying, why should you have a business
Hmm.
and then to resolve a dispute that arises from the business becomes another business?
Hmm.
So you're spending years resolving issues that have arisen from even small claims disputes. It just envelopes the people. And we're
Hmm.
saying this should stop, not only for commercial disputes, of course, in so many other areas.
Yeah.
But this particular summit is focusing on fast tracking the resolution of commercial disputes. And
Hmm.
we're inviting, it's the second time we're doing it. We're doing it for multi-door courthouses across Nigeria and we say across the world. It's just starting out this year. The first
Oh,
year, 2024, we had about 11 states coming. And this year, we're already at about 17 states in Nigeria and about 4 countries that have
hmm.
indicated interest in attending. So it's become like a melting point, a meeting place where people can discuss the effect of the multi-door system on
Hmm.
dispute resolution. You know, the multi-door system is within the different states in Nigeria. I'm using Nigeria as an example. And even in countries, you have the multi-door system. Now, that multi-door system creates access to justice, I keep saying, on your own terms. So the summit is saying, come and learn more about how to have access to justice on your own terms. And that does not necessarily exclude the courts. So we're
Hmm.
going to have judges and magistrates and lawyers and business people at this program who are discussing how to fast track the resolution of commercial disputes. That's the essence of this summit. It's way
Hmm.
more than that. It's providing a platform for access to justice beyond commerce, for the family,
Hmm.
for so many other areas, you know. And it's holding on October 15th and 16th from
Okay.
9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Metropolitan Club, Victoria Island, Lagos. But fortunately, if you can't make it in for a physical session, you can join us virtually, which Tony is going to do, you know, as a
Yeah, so we're going
presenter.
to share the link later on our YouTube description and podcast description as well. If
Okay.
whether if people would love to join, so they
Okay.
can find the link there. Thank you so very
I'm
much for your insights. Yeah.
Thank you.
really interested in the focus you have, Achere, on process, because too many people, and we work around the globe in different jurisdictions, believe that you can drop mediation into a backlog. You can pass an act, for example, the Mediation Act 2023 they have in India, and that will immediately begin to dissipate, dissolve your backlog, your blockage. But I don't think that's right, and I'm interested in the process that you're focused on, because it's not so much what you do as how you do it, isn't it? It's how you introduce the process, as you were saying, to
Yeah.
enable that. And have you found that with your focus on process, that the number of mediation each day that the LMDC handles has risen? Is that an indicator of an improvement in access to justice?
I would say yes, because people have better understanding about the processes. They can approach the courts to say, I want my matter referred to the court. So that's for court referrals. People also have a better understanding that they can walk in. You don't have to go to the court first. You can walk right in. And in certain circumstances, you don't even need to walk in. You can file your processes online and have your disputes resolved completely online, end to end, although we don't have a completely end-to-end platform, which is part of what you're going to come talk about, Tony. So we use the Zoom, you file, we use the Zoom, and then we use things like DocuSign to sign. So it has definitely increased access to justice. Most definitely, people are taking it up more readily because of the processes that exist. That's not to say we don't have things to work on, but I'm saying definitely the uptake has improved from the beginning. At the beginning, we had to do a lot of workshops.
Yeah.
I'm still having to do a lot of engagement because some people, number one, they may not understand the process. Number two, they don't believe in it. Why should I come to you? Why should I come to a mediator? Who is this mediator? Unlike the court system that they were used to, but we've changed that narrative. We can't say so in the over 20 years now.
Yes, I was going to pick up on that. And it's really interesting because the LMDC has been running, as you said earlier, for now it's 23 years. And it's interesting to see that change, as you say, so much engagement to change attitudes. And
Yeah.
are you, I mean, you've been with the LMDC, as you say, for a long time. Are you surprised by how long it's taken for Lagos citizens to embrace the concept?
No, I wouldn't say I'm surprised. The other day we had this, I think it was like a podcast with Simi, and we had representatives from Kenya, from the United States, and myself. And when we compared what happened across jurisdictions, it's not surprising to know that it does take a while to shift people's perceptions. They're used to the court system generally. But in Africa, were we really used to the court system? We were used to resolving disputes by ourselves. Yes, before the court system came in. So that was what we had. But then the court system came in and overthrew all that, it's not as if we don't resolve disputes ourselves. We still do, but people trust the court system. And why? Let's talk about why do they trust the court system? It's because at the end of the day, you get a judgment that is enforceable. So you can pay, you can bring about garniship proceedings and so on and so forth. So that's why they trust the court system. And then mediation within the multi-door system now tells you that you can trust mediation because you will get terms of settlement that become a judgment. That's the difference. So it's not like just having a commercial contract. You now have a judgment that you can enforce. So it's like a shortcut, isn't it, Tony? It's like a shortcut to the courts. That's what the multi-door system is now doing. Yeah.
I think that's right. I was a bit troubled by your description there, probably just tensing a little that you might start criticizing the introduction of the common law into Nigeria's alternative dispute resolution heritage.
Oh,
right, what can I do? My fault, is it?
If you're going to go there, that's going to take the entire time for this podcast. Because
that's another topic. That's a topic for another day, right? We can have that conversation differently.
We're not going there. I'm sorry I mentioned it. Let's talk about something else. So tell us about how much. Let's lower the pace down to detail. So tell us about how much a mediation at LMDC costs and what's its duration from start to finish. So the mediation
Okay,
meeting
so
from...
in terms of start to finish, it varies. If you have simple contracts, you could have a session of about 3 hours or 2 sessions of 3 hours each. And so let's say 6 hours. But then if it's, I said simple contracts. However, if you have maritime or banking or oil and gas disputes, more, complex disputes, you find out that if the parties are not prepared, if they're not prepared and not knowledgeable and not willing to submit quickly, then it takes a longer time because the mediator then has to go through different rungs of the corporate ladder to try to get to the company secretary, to the CEO, to get approvals and so on and so forth. So for those ones, you would take maybe a much longer time. But in terms of timing for the multi-door, for walk-in cases, we have about we've cut it down to 30 days. It's not working yet. It's not working yet, but that's our new, this year we have said going forward, we should start working with a 30-day time frame so that the people can see the benefit of the process. And then for walk-in cases, we have said 180 days. You know why? Because right now, the other side would not submit. If the other party doesn't submit on time, then it's as though you have helped the defendant, isn't it? So we give them time to submit, and that's what, not from the date of mediation, but from the date of filing. I hope this is clear in terms of timing, just describing what it's like. But in terms of cost, you pay a 10,000 naira fee. I don't know how much that is in pounds or dollars, but you pay a 10,000 naira fee to get in for a walk-in. And then for each case, depending on the cost of the claim, there's a graduated amount that is charged. So I can't give you a fixed sum. I'm talking mediation now, not arbitration. So I can't give you a fixed sum, but at least you have a 10,000 naira administrative charge that is billed per case. And that's for only walk-ins. For the court referrals now, it's completely free. You don't pay anything. And for settlement with cases, completely free also, you don't pay anything. So that's just give you a sense of the costing. I can't give you the fee structure. I can't give you a full picture on the costing.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about...
Is that a single, sorry, Chinwe, please. Yeah. I was just going to say, is that a single price point for the whole thing? There's no other additional fee?
The administrative fee is one fee. Then there's a session fee, which is graduated. So it depends on the claim. But even for non-monetary claims, we have a graduated way of calculating the fee for non-monetary. What is the fee schedule? I mean, we can always share the fee schedule with people who need our services.
Well, that's whilst you've been chatting, I've been listening, but I've also been multitasking, checking the equivalence of 10,000 naira to the pound sterling, and that's £5.12 in the UK, and that's very good. That's very good, very good, very impressive. So yeah. Do you? Let me ask you this: do you, in the UK, when we have court fees, which are also sometimes quite low, for smaller value cases, but still people are on welfare benefits, they can't afford this, and we have something called help with fees. Do you have anything like that for mediation fees? Any state help for poor people?
Oh, definitely. The Lagos Settlement Week program is completely free. So people actually look forward to the Lagos Settlement Week program where they do. In fact, we have people who just wait until the program starts and they lump in all their cases so they don't have to pay anything. And then even on the daily, if you need to walk in, we have pro bono cases. We take cases for free. So if it's obvious that the parties are indigent, maybe after a conversation, it's sometimes not easy to tell, but we could get a sense of what's going on. We do give some slots for free. And then, of course, the court referrals are absolutely free. You pay nothing if your case is in the court system. So there's so many avenues for you to access free mediation services for those who need it. And then there are those who say, look, I don't even want it free. I'm coming in as a commercial dispute person, and I want to pay, and I want it speedy.
Yes.
So you have so many options available.
Yes.
I'm sorry to cut you short. We've got 8 minutes to go, but I wanted to ask. You mentioned that you started this fast track settlement in 2024. I wanted to ask, compared to the settlement rate of in 2024, do you think that more people have sort of have embraced settlement via the LMDC, or is there sort of and is there a registrar or something, a register that people can register they are coming, the people that are coming to register, to settle their commercial disputes? Do you have such arrangement just to know, to compare people that came last year and the number of people that are coming this year as well? Thank you.
Sure. To compare the people who came.
Yes. So it's getting like around data, collecting data to see if there is an improvement of
Okay, if that's what you're asking, definitely we have data that shows year on the number of cases that we have resolved. In terms of whether more cases are being resolved, my response is our impact is beyond the multi-door courthouse. We find out that so many cases are being resolved within and outside of us because people know about mediation. So we're not capturing that data as much, but we're beginning to capture it. So they might file a case, or they might say they want to come in, and then they don't come in anymore, but you hear that the case is resolved. So we're having a lot of that on the outside, but on the inside, definitely. We're taking the data, for instance, for commercial disputes. In the last about 8 years, when we started taking the data, we have been responsible for the claims recovered of over 55 billion naira, and over $100 million has been recovered in about 8 years. So that tells you in terms of sums of money that you can imagine if the multi-door didn't exist, those claims will be stuck somewhere, So that shows you the benefit, particularly in terms of claims, and so many others, or so many other kinds of cases that have been resolved, that have been in the court system for upwards of 5 or 10 or 20 years. And they come within a short time, those cases are resolved. So the benefits are just so huge. We can't really unpack it in one conversation. And I think more people should come in and do a lot more research. It's something I'm particular about. You asked me what I like. I love research. We need to do a lot more research to tell people the benefits in actual figures to see what we're doing.
I did my research there. 2018 to 2021. So I know so many.
You did.
I mean, I'm sort of interested in knowing, because at the time I was there, the LMDC were branching into settling settling criminal cases. What's the story so far with that?
Well, early days yet, not just as multi-door, but as a state, but we're the first in Nigeria to start restorative justice. And I think it's a beautiful thing, because sometimes some of these cases have a civil flavor to it. It's criminalized. But for instance, we've had a dispute where a lady took a wedding dress. You call rented a wedding dress? Rented the wedding dress and didn't return it. And it was called conversion. But that's a business contract, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're talking about criminal. So she was charged for conversion. So we have quite a number of cases that are being resolved through their charges against the person, actual criminal charges against the person. But because the Lagos State Chief Judge passed the practice direction on restorative justice, and at the center, the Ministry of Justice now has a restorative justice hub. So cases from the magistracy, not from the High Court, cases from the magistracy are then referred to the center, and then the center refers the cases to institutions like the Lagos Multi-Door Courthouse. So we have restorative justice facilitators as part of our neutrals. So on our neutral base, we have mediators, arbitrators, and restorative justice facilitators who resolve these criminal cases, but they are minor criminal cases. We exclude cases like kidnapping, terrorism, financial crimes, and so on and so forth. The practice direction excludes these other types. So we've gone quite a bit into handling criminal, but minor criminal cases. And the point being, in those type of cases, you want to restore the victim as much as possible back to the place they were before the crime was committed. And as against where you have the state being in the front, the victim now has an opportunity to have a conversation with the offender. And they sit in a room, of course, guided by a restorative justice facilitator. So at the end of the day, yes, the victim will feel bad and want the state to, give punitive measures against the offender, but the victim walks away with some closure and some restitution or compensation as against just being at the back of the commissioner of police, if you get what I mean. I hope that's clear to you.
Thank you.
So it's been quite interesting doing that.
Thank you.
So when that happens, to take the example of the wedding dress, Achere, does this mean, once that is settled, that the criminal charges go away?
So what happens is, if the case is pre-charge, of course, but if there's already a charge. I think the prosecutor doesn't continue with the prosecution, so the charge will not stick anymore. The case would end. The person is no longer convicted or anything like that. We've not got to the point where practice direction allows you to even use restorative justice post-charge, post-conviction. But we've not got to that point, sir, where you would do it post-conviction. So these are more like diversionary cases. So it diverts you out of the criminal justice process. So you do not get a conviction. The aim is not to get a conviction.
Yes.
So one more question. Sorry, I just want to, out of curiosity, I want to know if the lawyers have embraced ADR, because my research revealed that they were struggling at that time, and so how far has it gone? How far has the sensitization gone? With the lawyers. Thank you.
Oh, I would say we've come a long way from when you were with us, Chinwe.
One more minute.
Definitely, we've come a long way, but and we're still doing a lot more sensitization. So sensitization continues. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so very much for coming on the show. Do you have anything to say? What do you need to do, Mr. Tony?
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Bye.